So listen, I love this, man. These are two guys that, well, one guy is near and dear to me. The other guy I'm just getting to know a little bit better.
You're not going to like him. You're not gonna like him.
He didn't like me on day one.
So Larry DiCamillo, chief of department down in Stafford, Texas, retired out of Houston. This is where the relationship comes with Steve. Steve Sanguedolce from Affordable Drill. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you're close.
I know. I'm trying to get that roll.
Close enough. Come on.
Steve is the owner, proprietor, operator of Affordable Drill Towers, and you have your hose card outside.
I do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit and so on. But you guys have a relationship which is fun, and that's why I kind of want to bring you up here, because I know not only did you work together in Houston in '68, but you also are friends, which is fun, man.
His friends. Yeah.
Friends.
And we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So, Steve, let's start with you, man. You and I've developed, again, you were a strong supporter of National Fire Radio, and I appreciate the support for the platforms and our friendship that has developed out of it, man. We just got done with the Joey D. Memorial Foundation training session, the first training conference in Texas a couple weeks ago.
It was good.
Talk about that a little bit. Talk about why you're so passionate about funding and supporting causes like that.
Yeah, the whole event of Black Sunday it was catastrophic, right? So the Joey's family, Chief DiBernardo, Mrs. DiBernardo, just amazing people. Jeff Cool and his family are great people. So being able to give back to that foundation is it's near and dear to the heart.
Yeah.
Joey was an instructor at the Suffolk County Fire Academy. That's where I got my start in '84.
That's awesome. There's a connection,
so
right?
There's a connection. Same age, both grew up on Long Island. So there's something there. And knowing Jeff, being friends with Jeff and Kevin Yost, these guys are amazing. Their hearts are in the right place. They're doing something. All the money is going back to the foundation.
Yeah.
So how do you not help out?
I agree,
right?
and you are a very giving and generous individual. I've seen it in a lot of different programs and things and sponsorships that you offer. And trust me, man, I appreciate that. I think that you are just an incredible person who is so in love with the job, and you retired off of the job, but you want to be back in so bad that you're doing everything you can to hold it together. I love it.
We still play, man. We still have a good time.
Man. Absolutely, you're supposed to.
Yeah,
for sure. Larry, what about you, brother? You and we got to meet. First time we met, we couldn't stand each other. We're now friends.
I think so.
Back 3 weeks ago, we became friends.
Was it? You said 2 earlier.
All right, 3. I'll give you an extra week on that.
Yeah, I thought it was a week and a half.
I appreciate it.
Jay now, so he learned that the people that really know me go by Jay or JK.
I didn't know that.
We don't know each other.
I didn't know that.
Actually, I'll tell you why. Because professionally, for National Fire Radio, for business and all that, I go by Jeremy all the time. It's only like personal childhood friends and guys in the firehouse that call me Jay. So anyway, but I would rather you call me Jeremy anyway.
I want to make you crash the car in Pennsylvania.
Rob calls me Jeremy. He doesn't call me Jay.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Larry, Stafford, Texas, retired out of Houston. I know, let's talk about Apparatus. You've been on our show. Yep. I still got to get Steve on the show. Steve's never even been on our show.
He is today.
Yeah, well, this doesn't count.
Virgin, man.
But Larry came on, and Larry's very passionate about truck work. 68 Trucking is your handle on Instagram, so you certainly have a passion for truck work.
Sure.
Steve was the chauffeur down there. He'd put that truck anywhere to get you guys to the roof for sure.
Absolutely.
Talk about that culture, how important truck work is to you and why.
Truck work to me is one of those things. I'm a big believer you don't need $1 million fire truck with a ladder on top to do truck work. It still has to be done, but I think that oftentimes the culture and the mindset is that a ladder truck shows up, and unfortunately, it's just an engine with a ladder on top. We have to try and change that. Truck work gets done at every fire we do, whether it's ventilation, forcible entry, salvage and overhaul, search. It has to be done. And I think that if you truly want to adopt that culture, if you want to believe in it, you have to support the personnel with the equipment they need, the policies and the guidelines to allow that to be done, and then you have to let them do their job. I'm very proud of the company that we run, a dedicated truck in the city of Stafford, and those guys are all about truck work. We even call it Truck 21. We want to instill that mindset because the personnel on it will work and make sure that it's relevant. I'm a big believer, and I said it at the Joey D, of always be relevant. And when you show up on the fire ground, the first step in relevancy is making sure your apparatus is positioned to be utilized as a truck. Even if you're going to stretch hose off of it, if it's a quint, it's got to be spotted for the aerial. You have to be in the mindset that the next step may be truck work. It may be access, it may be VES, it may be roof ventilation. So I just believe that it has to be done. I took over as the truck chauffeur at 68s on the A shift after Steve left, and he helped instill that mindset. He was the first chauffeur I saw in the Houston Fire Department that kept his quick hitches next to the door on the truck. He's a driver, but yet he's doing that. So when I transitioned over, I was a big believer in throwing my stuff on and going with the crew. Anybody can stretch a cord reel off my rig. It doesn't matter. They can grab a light, they can grab a tool. But I just believe that, especially on a 4-person or a 3-person company, everybody's work. And there's nobody that has the task of just getting from point A to point B. You have to be part of that belief system in that company.
I love where I got a chance. Steve took us down to 68. Mo Davis, that's Mo Davis, district chief of 68, and we spent. Oh my God,
great crew.
He's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah,
truly. Has an incredible heart, and his passion for the American Fire Service is bigger than probably anyone I know. I mean, the guy is just incredible. But we went down, and I got to see the culture firsthand in 68.
It was B shift. So,
doesn't matter, Larry. I'm telling you, it could have been. Listen, it didn't matter.
I agree.
If that's the thing, it's B shift, and that's as bad as I got in that house. Let me tell you something.
No, they're squared away.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Like, and truly, I'm jesting, but the culture there and the passion and drive that they had in that house was unbelievable to see firsthand.
That's a good thing about making fires. That's a busy firehouse.
Yeah.
So when you're making fires, day in, day out, almost every tour, you've got no chance but to be good friends, become brothers, sisters, and you could tell pretty quick if you don't fit into that culture.
Yeah, for sure. Steve, talk to me about affordable drill towers a little bit. I mean, that's your passion right now, and then you have your hose carts that are out there now. Look, give me a little summary about that so everybody learns about who you are and what you do.
So basically, I'm offering a solution to the fire service to give them a drill tower. It's not brick and mortar. You've got to use your imagination a little bit, but you can do everything with the exception of live fire training on it. And you guys have all seen that. You guys have all taught on it and walked through it. So anything from VES to cutting holes in roofs to stretching off standpipes, confined space through the floor, through the stairs, you name it.
And the tower gives you an ISO credit for a training ground.
That's right. Thanks, Rob.
Like, that's a big plug for people that are out there.
You can, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the other things, too, that I like about the tower that you've done, and it's what really I've kind of learned in the last 6 months, is your ability to use the standpipe.
Right.
Because most people can't use a standpipe, and I think probably half the American Fire Service might even be using it wrong, but you're able to provide a standpipe that's working on your drill tower, not only with the standpipe, but some with pressure-reducing valves, which some people may find the first time either on your tower or in a building.
That's right.
And they have no clue how this thing works.
Yep.
So somebody like Matt Rush comes along with you a lot, and he's able to kind of plug that and go through and make sure that we understand how to cope with that as a fire service. But it all comes down to your tower having that option. And plus, you've just built a really good prop to kind of take that to the next level. Hit on that a little bit.
So the affordable standpipe prop is narrow enough you can roll it into a classroom, into a door, through a doorway. So you could talk about pump theories and how standpipes work, NFPA 13, NFPA 14. Talk about the systems. When is a PRV required, and so it gives them that availability. And you talk about it in the classroom, then you roll it out to the parking lot. You pump into it. You can customize any of the discharge outlets. You can customize the FDC. So whether you want a Siamese or you want a 5-inch intake. Doesn't matter. We'll customize it for you.
And I think the cool thing that I liked about it, when you talk about imagination with your products, you can take the standpipe prop to already built tower. If you have a fire training center somewhere, but maybe the standpipe system's broken because we left water in and it froze and now it's not working, but we can stretch from that, ground floor and simulate that we're going to the floor above from there, which is beautiful because now we don't have to worry about breaking anything else.
Yeah, there's couple major urban departments, which I'm not going to name, whose standpipe systems are out of service. They're either broken or they have freeze damage or whatever, or just very, very old. And we've quoted them to them, and they're in the process of purchasing them. So even urban departments, and it's not only an urban tool. I mean, most people think standpipes are for high rises only. This is a 1-story building, and there's PRVs in this building.
Yep.
So.
I think as Steve Robertson said one day, it's like the Home Depot is a high-rise on its side, right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
You're still going to have a standpipe that you need to connect to. You need to know how to do that. So.
Absolutely.
And to jump in on that, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I saw his prop outside this morning, and what I liked about it was the portability. You can buy one, and literally you can take it from district to district, quadrant to quadrant, and you can do that. Or if you want to have them, from a price point, and I'm not telling you what Steve's pricing is, but they're affordable enough to where you can have multiple ones in service in a city to make sure that reoccurring company level training can go on without having to go all the way to a centralized academy.
That's the one thing I like, right? Even with the drill tower and the hose prop, right? They're both multifunctional, right? I mean, you think of a drill tower, right? I just want to circle back to the drill tower real quick. You think about you know, how versatile is it? Well, I've used it, we've operated on it, we've run conferences on it, and
Yeah.
you can do anything and everything with that drill tower. So versatility, it's not just a tower that's traditional on a fire ground or training ground. There is so much more that you can bring to the table with it. So,
Yeah.
Steve, thank you. Where can people find affordable drill towers? How do they reach out?
AffordableDrillTowers.com. We're on all the social media channels. 844-55 Tower.
Awesome.
844-55 Tower.
Awesome, Steve.
Yeah.
Larry, Larry's an apparatus nerd like me.
Yep.
National Fire Radio does the Apparatus Innovation segments. It does very well, sharing tips, tricks, and hacks across the country about how people do it.
Sure.
People build it one way in Texas, I do it a different way in New Jersey because it might be a regional thing or it's because I didn't know how you did it. But now that I do, it might be better than the way I do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about the importance of apparatus builds and then some upcoming projects you and I might be working on.
I think when you look at it, this is, I like coming to FDIC. You see a little bit of everything that's out there, everything that's new, things that are being re-engineered. And just here in particular, I think that, you know, I haven't seen a square bucket yet on a tower ladder or a ladder tower here because Captain Dugan and I had the argument / discussion about tower ladder versus ladder tower. But I think you're seeing the industry is starting to go to corner cuts on almost everything when it comes to buckets.
Right.
I think that there's some trends in the fire service that we like to put everything we can in the bucket. And I think that from an apparatus specification perspective, I believe that more is not necessarily always better. I think that if you can lighten up straight stick aerials on the tip, you can narrow the profile, you can reduce long-term damage, you can increase usability, and at the same time too, still hit the functions of what that truck's supposed to do. Tower ladder buckets are just increased acreage that sometimes we feel compelled to have to put a lot of stuff on just to take up the space. There's certain things you want to have in a bucket, but at the same time too, it's not something that you always have to. Obviously, a major manufacturer came out with their own tiller here. That, to me, when I turned the corner and I saw it, was very impressive, especially with their aerial design, to use it in the tiller format. So I think that there's a lot of things that regionally may work. You know, you may have water supply dynamics that I don't and vice versa, but I think that sometimes, I think we've reached a bubble in the market where the overcomplication of apparatus is starting to see its zenith, and we're now starting to go back down to basic work trucks.
I agree with you.
The Detroit
100%.
truck over there is an absolute work truck.
Yep.
It's there, it's meant to do a job, it's not meant to do 8 jobs. And I think that ever since the advent of the Quint in the American Fire Service, we think we can put everything in a box. And I just think that the simplification of apparatus is what the trend is now.
Beautiful. Larry and I have been talking. We're going to, the Apparatus Innovation segment on National Fire Radio is going to become its own show. And that's going to be a post-production piece that will be released once or twice a month, where we're going to tackle different topics and really deep dive into it so we can educate the consumer, because a better educated consumer is a better buyer and a better builder of their products. So it's good. Guys, thank you. I'd love to have you up here all day, but we've got a couple other people I want to bring up. Steve, thank you. Larry, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys and your friendships. Thank you for hopping in. Pip, you want to hop in real quick, bud?